I recently read How Minds Change by David McRaney. If you want to change someone's mind, you can't do it with facts. Confront someone with an undeniable mic drop fact that you're sure will change their mind, and they'll just manufacture reasons to dismiss it, double down on what they believe, and discredit everything you say. You see this dynamic play out at scale when a news source like the New York Times reveals an uncomfortable truth, and people declare them to be a fake news organization so they can ignore every fact they present. In How Minds Change, author David McRaney tells the story of a 9/11 truther who stopped believing 9/11 was staged and started presenting the facts to his community, only to be branded a double agent and banished by the truther community. If there's one thing you remember from this video, ensure it's this: never attack someone's belief head-on and expect facts to win them over. That's a strategy that's sure to backfire. Instead, do this. Ask them why they're so confident in their belief. Let them struggle to come up with compelling reasons. Then ask about personal experiences that might contradict their belief. If you do this right, years of hardened opinions, beliefs that have calcified like barnacles on the side of an aging ship, can fall off after a single conversation. Why? Well, when people realize that it's not as easy to justify their beliefs as they thought, their confidence starts to crack and they begin to change their mind. This means that, despite years of failed attempts, you can help someone you love let go of a toxic belief that's tearing apart their relationships, or rally support for a cause you believe in, or help your kids make better decisions. Author David McRaney traveled the world to find people who change minds for a living, like those going door to door talking about marriage equality in California or trans rights in Florida, and saw firsthand what a profound change a 10-minute conversation can have. In fact, Rolling Stone reported that the techniques he was witnessing were 102 times more effective than traditional political outreach methods, and may have swung the 2020 election in Biden's favor. After analyzing the most effective mind-changing techniques in the book, I discovered 3 essential steps we must take to change someone's mind. I like to think of these as 3 checkpoints you need to get through in order to unlock change. Build rapport, discuss their confidence score, and evoke a personal story. Mind-changing step number 1, build rapport. Building rapport is like getting someone to turn off their home security system and invite you into their house. The house is their emotional space where beliefs live. Without rapport, people refuse to have conversations deep enough to change their minds. When considering how to build rapport, start by considering what not to do. Don't rush straight to business. Don't judge them for their beliefs. Don't distort what they say to make them look stupid. Don't act like you have nothing in common. When you flip each anti-rapport behavior, you get a recipe for rapport that forms the letters R-A-P-P. R, relax. Drop your need to change their mind and just aim to understand why you see things differently. Pretend you're having a conversation with an old friend. A, accept. You don't have to agree with their belief, but you can't shame them for holding it. If you had their experiences, you'd likely believe what they believe. So have some compassion and park the judgment. P, paraphrase in the best possible way. After you ask a question, pay close attention so you can summarize their response in a way they'll actually like. For example, what I'm hearing is that you believe that universal basic income would serve as an economic stabilizer and provide a foundational safety net for a new wave of entrepreneurship. Think of this as a goodwill paraphrase. It proves you listened and makes them look good, both of which make them want to keep talking. P, point out common ground. We are tribal creatures who remain guarded around people unlike us. So be quick to point out what you both want, fear, or care about. Shared values build trust, and trust opens the door to change. Mind-changing step number 2, discuss their confidence score. Ask someone how well they can explain how a zipper works, and they'll sound confident because they use one every day. But the moment they try to describe it in detail, they stumble, and their confidence collapses. Psychologists call this the illusion of explanatory depth. We assume we understand something far better than we actually do. This cognitive quirk applies not only to everyday objects, but to deeply held beliefs. If someone is absolutely certain that immigration hurts the economy, or that vaccines are dangerous, ask them to explain how they became so sure. They'll struggle to provide a succinct answer. As they struggle, their overconfidence and certainty start to crack. Professional mind changers create these cracks by asking 3 sequential questions. 1. Can you rate your confidence in that belief on a scale from 0 to 100? 2. How did you arrive at that number? 3. Why is it not higher? Here's why those 3 questions work so well. When someone confidently says, "My confidence score is 90, they immediately realize they need rock-solid reasoning to back it up. When you ask them to explain that number, they struggle to provide 90% level reasoning, and a sliver of self-doubt sets in. Pull on that self-doubt by asking, "What accounts for those missing 10 points?" Or, "Why isn't it 100? This forces them to describe their uncertainty in detail, and they often realize it's more significant than they thought. Now that you've established rapport with RAPP and planted a seed of doubt by questioning their confidence score, complete one more step to upend their belief. Evoke a personal story. Nearly everyone has experiences that contradict their beliefs that they've simply dismissed. For example, ask someone with strong anti-immigrant views to reflect on their experience with immigrants at work. They may suddenly realize they spent years working alongside an immigrant coworker whom they deeply respected. Ask an old man who opposes gay marriage if he knows any gay people in his neighborhood, and he may tell you about his interactions with 2 gay neighbors over the years, realizing they are good people who deserve the same rights he and his late wife enjoyed. In many cases, personal experiences are the only thing that can overturn years of cherry-picked information and reinforcement, because it's hard to ignore lived reality. That's why a professional mind changer in the book likes to imagine walking into a conversation with a ring of keys. Each key is a story-evoking question designed to unlock one of the many past experiences they've overlooked to maintain their certainty. Questions like, have you met someone from the other side who made you think they're actually pretty reasonable? Has anything ever happened that made you question this belief, even for a moment? As they share a personal story, they get to relive an experience and reconsider their previous conclusions. Your job is to highlight and echo back key moments that challenge their existing belief. If you do this right, you'll evoke a vivid personal experience that contradicts a toxic belief, which can fundamentally change their mind and alter the course of their life. That was the core message that I gathered from How Minds Change by David McRaney. This was a fascinating book that changed my view on changing people's minds. I highly recommend it. If you would like a 1-page PDF summary of the insights I gathered from this book, just click the link in the description below and I'll email it to you. If you already received the free Productivity Game newsletter, this PDF is in your inbox.